Callina, well, thank you very much for joining us on Premier Scene today.
Of course, thank you for having me.
So, Tell Me Everything is the name of the show, and I obviously want you to tell me everything. But it's very much a coming-of-age story, isn't it? With some very kind of contemporary themes as well for young adults. So was that what really attracted you to the script in the first place?
Yeah, definitely. I think when I saw the script, I feel like a TV show hasn't been made like this in a long time. Something that's, uniquely British, based in Welwyn Garden City, very down to earth, kind of exploring the themes of teenagers growing up in the 2020s, because a lot of the issues that teenagers face now is different to, what people used to face before. And even like after COVID, I feel like the use of social media has gone up tremendously. So I feel like I read the script and I was like, this is something really sick, because it discusses a lot of like raw issues and also has a lot of lightheartedness like throughout. So definitely.
Well, I was going to say, apart from all the sort of like kind of more heavier themes to do with mental health and that in the show, it's also very much a celebration of being young and celebrating youth, isn't it? It does definitely have those light-hearted, funny moments, doesn't it?
Definitely, yeah. I think it's really nice because it's a very nice balance, and I think watching the show myself, there are some unique moments where I'm like, oh, I should be feeling really sad and crying right now, but then like Louis will come in with a joke and I start laughing, so it kind of catches you off guard, which also is something really unique about the show. The comedy comes in at inappropriate times, so it's very entertaining, but also deals with serious issues and is very real and raw, because when you're going through something very low in life, you're not always going to be sobbing on the floor. So I just feel like, to me, with the comedy as well, it's a very just real depiction of teenagers going through life.
Fantastic. And you're playing the character of May. She is mysterious, and that's definitely what I saw. And there's she's got a real edge, hasn't she? Is that what attracted you to her?
Yes, I think when I first read the description of the character, I was like scared. I was like, whoa, this is nothing like myself. She's got this dark energy about her, and I think me as a person is just kind of on the opposite side of it. But after reading the script more and learning more about her, I definitely found more common ground with her, and I found a lot of love for the character. She may do destructive things at times, but she's also just another girl growing up, figuring herself out, and she will do whatever it takes to get what she wants. So I respect that.
And she's very striking in her appearance as well, and it kind of feels that we all look very different to home when we're at home too, when we go out. But I kind of feel with May that when she puts on those clothes and she changes her appearance, it's kind of almost, she becomes her alter ego.
Yes, definitely. It was something that me and the makeup team discussed a lot, kind of her wearing this mask. When she was at home and the makeup was light, it was like she has her guard down, but every time you saw her out with friends, with Johnny, she always has the really dark makeup and the really intense outfits. So it's definitely like symbolic in a way. And I think the makeup team did an amazing job, because the makeup for May is just gorgeous and crazy.
It really is. And it's like so much fun for you as an actor, because you can completely kind of like, just kind of remove yourself from it completely and just immerse yourself.
Exactly. It helped a lot, because I think when I first read the character, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Because if you look at me now and then you look at her, it's so different. But I think once with the hair and really dark makeup, I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah, exactly.
The confidence will come.
and the show set in Welwyn Garden City, which is it feels very much a character as well in the show. And for an actor where space and kind of your spatial awareness is really important, I wondered how being in Welwyn Garden City, which is really the writer's love letter to his hometown, how that helped inform your character and your connection to the character, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, I totally see what you mean. I think it was really nice since it's written by Mark and it's a semi-autobiography about what he went through as a teenager. And it was a very cooperative process with the actors and the writers. Every single day I think I saw Mark on set, and wherever we filmed, he'd be like, telling us things about where we were and what he remembers from when he was growing up. So it was definitely a very nice experience to help bring his vision to life of how, him growing up as a teenager, like in Welwyn Garden City, and how we can portray that realistically. It was very interesting and a very nice change of scenery for me as well, because I came from Toronto, and yeah.
It's very different.
Very different.
And even though you do have a central character in the show, it does kind of feel very much like an ensemble. And so and your character actually is very much kind of the outsider coming in. They've already got this relationship. So I wondered how you as actors, how did you kind of work on establishing those relationships really?
Do you mean on
set and behind? How did you work together? How did you kind of integrate yourself into that kind of ensemble really?
Yeah, it was really nice because I think we were all around the same age and we all really got along as people. And so it really helped me. I mean, I felt like May, the character, because I was coming from somewhere different, and I came in and I was really scared, but everyone was so welcoming and we all became actually really good friends filming the show. So it was really funny because right before a scene goes, we'd all be on there like having a chat, me and Lauren, just cracking jokes. And as soon as camera goes, and it's like I'm just by myself and everyone's like in their group and everyone's looking at me and I'm just there like so, but it was really nice. We all are still really close friends, which I'm really grateful for that.
And this is your sort of debut for TV, so I know that you are theatre trained and you have a formal training, but you're acting for camera, which is a different kind of discipline in that it's very technical. It's really important to hit the right marks. How was your transition to going from sort of theatre into TV, and how was with regards to your technique really?
I think it really helped because when I was 18, I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York, and I did a summer intensive, and it was the first time I had done any camera work. So I did a on-camera course, and I found that really extremely challenging at first because the teacher was always like, stop moving your eyebrows. We watch it back on the TV, and I'm like, oh my God, this is really horrible. But I feel like personally with acting for TV is a lot about feeling it internally and not needing to overdo anything. So I always try to keep it as natural as possible. Especially depends on how close the camera is to you. So if it shows your body, then I'd be like, okay, maybe I can move a little bit more. But when it's on the face, I feel like the eyes tells it all. So I just really try and ground my emotions and to just feel everything truthfully rather than show it, if that makes sense. Because I feel like with theater is a lot about showing and doing, whereas for TV is just very much about feeling and going through it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for stage you've got to project to an audience, haven't you? Whereas on camera it's kind of less is more. It is more about the internalization and being able to kind of think and speak through your eyes, really, isn't it? The sense.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And I suppose really what has been kind of like the highlight for you working on the show? Have you, you know, when you began to shoot the show, have you learned a lot about yourself, about the environment that you're working with, that you could take to kind of like your next project?
Definitely. I feel like I got very lucky having this as my debut role, because it was such a nice, well-rounded TV show. I had dark moments, light moments, funny moments, and I also had the chance to do stunts. You know, there were a lot of fun scenes to film, and every single time wherever I could, I was like, I'm gonna do the stunts myself, get the double away, I want to do it. So it was so nice experiencing everything, learning everything. And it was also my first time working with an intimacy coordinator, so I also learned a lot about that. And yeah, going forward, I think this TV show, filming the show, has taught me a lot, because I feel like the best way to learn is to do. And having just gone in there and giving it my everything, it was such a good experience, very rewarding for sure.
Absolutely. And you mentioned earlier on about social media. It's such a huge part of our lives now, isn't it? And I just wondered what your relationship was with using social media, and how important is it to, I suppose, you know, sort of keep a balance of not kind of overuse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not allowing it really to take over your life, really.
Definitely. It's a very thin line. I think I don't even want to say young people, I think everyone struggles with nowadays. It's just such a world now. You can't really do anything without social media. But I think for me personally, I keep in contact with all of my close friends and family, you know, via messaging. And with social media, it's kind of just like a break for me. If I want to just go on there and post something funny and kind of see what people are getting up to, I try to keep it to just checking it 2 times a day, something like that, just very light, because it's a deep hole that you can definitely fall into. There's good sides to social media and bad sides to it. So I think just keeping a nice balance and not always relying on it. I think when you feel uneasy without your phone, that's when you should really take a big break. But now I can like go without my phone for hours and hours. And sometimes my agents get angry at me about that. But yeah, it's just making sure you're not on it all the time.
And finally, really, what are your aspirations for the future? Where would you like to see your work taking you?
I would honestly just like to work in anything, you know. I think to me as an actor, I just want to be able to create and, you know, work on projects that I'm passionate about, whether it is big or small. That none of that matters to me. I think it's just being able to create with good people, good actors. I want to work alongside, you know, other creative people who inspire me, other directors, and yeah, just experiencing as much as I can. That's what would make me so happy.